of all saw the video on how I got a perfect score for my HSK 3 test. And because I am not a gatekeeper, okay, I'm gonna show you all the tips and study tricks that I use so that you can get a result like this too. On the poll that I did on Instagram, you guys have let me know that you guys want tips on how to remember characters, apps that I use, and little mindset tips and tricks to help you stay disciplined and motivated. So today's video is gonna be structured in 1, using 3 ways to remember characters easily so that you can study them once and then never forget anymore. Visualization, creativity, and we use logic to do that. 2, I'm gonna tell you all the apps that I use. I only use apps, no books. And 3, a few simple tricks to help you stay motivated. Let's go. There are 2 ways to remember Chinese character. I did the hard way or through repetition, repeating and repeating, praying that you will remember, but because you just see the whole characters as a whole bunch of strokes all together, you will forget very quickly. The smart way that I use is assign any meaning to the Chinese characters. This can be done through 1, visualization, 2, approaching the characters with logic, or 3, the most fun part is using your creativity to come up with a bizarre, random, very silly story, but that is actually the best way to not forget any character. The easiest character that you will learn at the beginning are actually always the most visual. Yeah, for example, nu, which is woman. You just see it as a person standing like that. Huo, which is literally fire. You cannot tell me that it's not a flame, right? Then you have mu, which is like, it's literally a tree standing like this. You also have tu, which means ground. Oh yeah, mouth, kou. Mouth is literally shaped like your mouth. Honorable mention, I forgot to go over yue, which means moon, and zi, which means sun or day. These are very high, frequent, and easy characters to remember first. Those are the easiest characters, and you can use those characters to learn more difficult characters. For example, we have the character guo here. Underneath, we have the character mu that I just mentioned with this tree. And you see in this little image, you can see the little thingy on top actually just looks like an apple that's hanging in the tree, right? So this character guo, which means fruit, you remember that, I see the apple, the little apple. So this character means fruit. It's so easy to remember. Another example is this word, this character, which is so, which means to describe somebody who is very, very skinny. This is my example. Look, the red part is actually a radical, and it's the radical for somebody who is sick. It's the sick radical. You can remember this as the dot is like somebody laying on their bed, because this is their bed, and this is the, thing supporting your bed. And then the blue part, you can see that this top part kind of looks like his chest, right? Like his very, very prominent rib bones that are sticking out because he is so skinny. And then the lower part, just remember that as like his legs. So now when you see this character, you're like, oh, I know that one. It's the one for skinny in Chinese. It's so. Moving on to logic, a lot of characters actually have logic behind why they are structured that way. The easiest way to see that is when you learn and see the radicals. Radicals are the somewhat easier, very high frequent Chinese characters that get put into combination with other characters to give you a clue of the meaning. This is the original character for Xin, and this is the character for Xin in the radical form. It means heart. Heart and everything related to the mind. And then you have the radical tu, which is the one that I mentioned earlier also for ground. So these 2 characters both have the same pronunciation, which is kuai. The first one means speed, however, and the second one means a brick, or it means how much renminbi does something cost. So when looking at the 2 characters which have the same pinyin, and the right part is like identically the same, you use the radicals to remember the meaning behind this. When you tell somebody to hurry up, they run to you. Their hearts start pounding faster because of the intensity of the exercise. So then you're like, oh, kuai. When I want to tell somebody to hurry up, I need to use the kuai that has the heart radical in it, because that's what happens when somebody hurries up to me. Now for the second character, which when you ask somebody 多少块 is literally how you say how much does this cost in Chinese. Think of the memory story, oh, my money fell onto the ground and I have to search the dirt for my money. The second example that I have of using logic to approach characters is the character qing. These 4 all have the same pronunciation. It's all pronounced qing, but the meaning is different. The right part is pronounced qing, and it is used to describe this somewhat blue greenish color that it gives off a very calm vibe. So when we use that in qing tian, it's a clear day. The left character is Zhi, the character for sun. The sun is coming out, it's very bluish, very clear day. So that means qing tian. Now for the second character, this part is 3点水, which is 3 droplets of water. So when together in the word 清水, water plus bluish, 清 literally means clear water, because clear water is blue, right? Clear water is greenish, right? Like when we go to the beach. Easy, done, remember. Third character, 请问 is what we say when we want to ask somebody something, but very polite in Chinese. For example, 请问 where is the airport? The left part is a radical, which actually comes from 语言, which means language, and 言 is language. This is the original form of language of the character yen. This is the form in its radical form. So when you see this radical, you will always know, somewhat this character has to do with language or speech or words or talking in general. So when we 请问 somebody something, when we ask somebody for something, you use your words, of course, to do that. So when you see this, you're like, that's the clue. In this character, 请 is the sound clue because this character is pronounced as 请问. For the fourth example, we have 感情, which is feelings. Feelings are related to your heart, to your mind, right? So when you see the 心 radical, you're like, of course, it has to do with my heart or my mind. So that is feeling. The second example of this is all these characters. This is the character yue. When standing on the left side, this character actually doesn't mean moon, but it means this character zhou, which means meat. These 5 characters are all used to describe different body parts. So when you see the moon radical, or actually in this case, the meat radical on the left side, you know these are all body parts and all have the same radical. You can try to learn them all together, because if your mind have any connection to any other characters, it is already way easier to remember than using them all, than learning them all one by one. And another good trick of you learning characters is that you learn the opposites. For example, this is the character that we just talked about. It means skinny. Then you can also learn the character 胖, which means fat. It is an adjective to describe somebody who is fat. Because your mind connects them together, it will already be easier for you to remember. And also for this character 胖, the right side of the character means half. So when half of my body is increasing like this, that means I've gotten more fat. That's the memory trick behind this character. These next 4 characters are another great example. They all have the same character. Character means a little bird. You just remember it as a little bird, and like I said, you learn them all at the same time. All characters
that have the same main part but different radicals, you can try to learn them all at the same time. It will stick way better.
For the first example, we have 唯一, and it means only. If in a whole bunch of birds together, there is only one bird opening their mouth, now then they are the only one talking. So then you remember, this character means only because there was only one bird talking. For the second character, see the little bird, and then this is the hand radical. This character means to push. You will see it on a lot of, doors in China. Think of this little bird flying against the door, trying to push it open. That's how you remember this character. For the third character, it's say, which means who. Looking at it, it's the little bird again with the language radical that I mentioned previously. So imagine there is this little bird. It's using their words or their sounds to try to talk to you. You're like, who? This little bird. Okay. So that is the character for say, for who. Now guys, here comes the fun part. If any of the previous 2 methods don't work and you're like, this character is so difficult, I can't remember. Here comes the fun part. Use your imagination to attach a story to a character. I use Demon Slayer for this. For example, you have this character which is 吵架. 吵架, which means to have a fight, to fight. 吵 is that, no, they're fighting. Oh my god, you're so annoying. Oh my god, this is your fault. No. That kind of sound is 吵. And then 架 means to fight. I saw that they were, composed of different components, but I still couldn't remember. So I attached a story to it. The bottom part is mu. We mentioned before, is the character for tree. Then you have this character, which is li, which is effort. And then we have kou, which is mouth. If you're learning Chinese, you probably already recognize all 3 of these characters because they are very simple, but you just don't know the meaning of them all 3 put together. So that's why I'm attaching a meaning to it. There was this one demon that Tanjiro was fighting in season 1, and there was this arrow demon. And I remember there was a part in the series in the fight where he was hiding in the tree, like this. And then Tanjiro uses his sword, and Tanjiro always needs to use a lot of effort to slice the head of a demon. And whenever Tanjiro fights, We all know that he loves to scream. So Jia, when they are fighting, Tanjiro went into the tree, saw the demon in the tree, rises up his sword, uses a lot of effort to kill the demon, and screams while he does it. Oh, that is the character Jia. They are fighting. And then for the first character, which is Tall, which is the, oh my god, they are bickering kind of character. It's actually very simple too. You see the ko again, right? And you see this character which means saw. So the memory trick behind this one is, oh, if you opened your mouth, ko, a little lesser, we wouldn't fight so much. So that combined with the very favorite story for Jia means to fight. You will, I'm telling you, if you can come up with something like this, you will never forget the characters. The second example I have for this is Love and Deepspace. You guys need to use examples that are personal to you. Things that you like. I like Demon Slayer. I like playing Love and Deepspace. Because the more personal to you they are, the way more it will click in your mind. It doesn't matter if somebody else doesn't get that. You just need to get it. For example, Love and Deepspace. This game, the Chinese name is 恋与升空. So this was the character that I was trying to learn for my HSK, 变化, which means change. And then this character is 恋爱, which means love. And I was like, okay, this is the character that I've seen before. And this is a character that I need to learn. Okay, they both have the same top part, right? So I looked it up. The top part means yi. It comes from this character, yi. And the meaning of the character is also. So I was like,
okay, I have to create a memory story with these two characters that both have the meaning also to it so that I can remember and differentiate between the two.
The character E kind of looks like a person standing like this with open arms and legs, right? So I was like, okay, so if this character means love, then love is something that is in your heart and also in his heart of your partner. So it is used to describe emotional duality. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because this is the character for Xin, right? For heart. And then in 变化, the bottom part is Yo. Yo is the radical for your right hand. This character means your right hand. I was like, okay. So change is an action that creates an also state because it's different from right now, right? You use your right hand to take action to create a state that's also very different from the one that you're currently in because that means change. And so when comparing these characters like this, creating this kind of vivid memory story, your brain loves this kind of shit so that it is easy for them to remember. So now that you know these memory tricks, you might be like, Jiayin, okay, nice, but I cannot come up with all those kind of stories myself, and I don't know how the characters are breaking down to it. Here's where the apps comes in. The first app that I recommend is DeepSeek AI. I use DeepSeek over ChatGPT because DeepSeek is Chinese and you're trying to learn Chinese, so I thought it might be more, suitable. Go into DeepSeek, type in the character that you're trying to learn, and ask for the prompt, how to remember this character, give me a memory tip or story, and break down the characters. And then DeepSeek will literally do all the work for you guys. You don't have to do the creative work yourself. You don't have to look up the radicals yourself. You don't have to look up how is this character constructed. Are there any other characters that I can? No, DeepSeek will do it all for you. And then another app that I use is Supertest. Supertest is an all-in-one app, especially great for everybody that is wanting to take the HSK test too and not just learning Chinese for a personal mission or any else. Supertest, I literally have a HSK companion course. Follow all the exercises. It will teach you everything you need to know for your HSK test. How I mainly use this app is I go into the vocabulary feature because it will show you all the vocabulary that you need to learn. I used Supertest to learn all the vocabulary, and when I went to the test, I knew every word that they were trying to test me on. So it is really accurate because of the app too, right? It's up to date. What I usually do is I click into the vocabulary that I'm trying to learn. I copy the whole example sentence and then paste that into Mopik, which is the app that I use for flashcards. Basically, any app that has Anki flashcards. The space repetition for flashcard is really good. You need space repetition. I go into Mopik, I create a flashcard on my own. I post the example sentence in it, and then I take a screenshot and I post the meaning of the character as the backside. Then another really good app is Focus Keeper, and whenever I study, I open the Focus Keeper app. It is a Pomodoro timer, but the best thing about this app is that it has a built-in app blocker. I click on all the social media, all the games. Whenever I'm studying, nobody can disturb me, and this is the way to keep your focus too. And after every 25 minutes, you can take a break. If you don't want to create your own flashcards, use Handy Dictionary. This is a dictionary that you can use whenever to look up any words, any new word that you see. It really is really good. You can use it to see how the characters are written, and sometimes it also provides a memory clue. For example, the screenshot that I used for the character Guo that I used to explain to you guys, that is literally from Hanzi Dictionary. Look up any word, click on save it, and then when you click on notebook, Hanzi Dictionary literally has the flashcard created for you guys. It cannot be any easier than this. They have sentences. The work is already done for you. And there are 2 ways that I motivate myself to study and to keep myself disciplined. And one is keeping a student diary, and second is keeping a counter app. A counter app is this app that I use. It's called Day Since. And the first day that I started studying Chinese, I created a counter. And now whenever I look into the app, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to study. But then you look into the app and you see, oh, I've already studied for this long. And I already put in effort the last time. And I already decided that I was going to learn Chinese and that this was going to be one of my goals and achievements for this year. So then you see that and you're like, ah, damn. You already get a little bit of motivation of that. But if that is not enough, I have something for tangible proof of all the efforts that you put in the past, which is called a student diary. And I recommend that after every time that you study, you create a little entry in your notes saying, today I studied for 20 minutes. See how capable I am. Today I learned a new character which was very difficult for me, but after thinking and doing a little bit of research, I finally came up with a way to remember this. You can put in any affirmation. You can put in a screenshot of the flashcards that you studied today. You can put in a screenshot of the timer, the Pomodoro timer of how long you studied today, or you can even just put in any simple affirmations. For example, I said this time, knowledge comes to me easy. Or you can say Chinese learning is easy, or this is actually very enjoyable. Or like you can say, oh, I only studied for 10 minutes, but what matters is that I showed up today. Anything. And then whenever you look back on it, whenever you don't feel very disciplined, very motivated to study, you literally have proof. Your brain cannot tell you anymore, this is too difficult, we cannot do this, this goal is way too big for us. Because once your brain sees that tangible proof, you're like, but I already came so far. I already did my best. Feel good about yourself and you will go into studying with a better mood. That was all for today's video. This is actually also my very first video on this channel, and I want to thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you did come so far, if you still have any questions, you can leave it below.
Follow me on Instagram if you want to participate in posts like this too, and to check in with my Chinese learning progress. I always update on my Instagram.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you next time.